You know how everything's a subscription now? Music, movies, even socks. I swear if it...
To continue this ad, please upgrade to Premium Plus Platinum.
What? No, anyway, Blue Apron...
This is a pay-per-listen ad. Please confirm your billing.
Oh, that's annoying. At least with the new Blue Apron, there's no subscription needed. Get delicious meals delivered without the weekly plan.
Wait, no subscription?
Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
The kettle's boiled, Vic.
Great. Perfect timing. Just a dash of milk for me, please, mate.
Here you go. Shall we get started then?
Have you ever woken up on a Sunday morning and said, I'm never drinking again, and then found yourself waving $50 at a barman by happy hour?
Are you wondering why everyone else can stop at 1 while you head to a dodgy after-party with a weird bloke called Disco Dave? If so, it might be time to take a deeper look at your relationship with your reliable social crutch, alcohol.
On each episode, we'll investigate our own dysfunctional dealings with booze and find out if it's possible to stop this deeply ingrained habit before things get too messy.
Yep, we're going to open up a shame shed of humiliating drinking stories to help you understand why waking up from a booze coma each weekend with a kebab sticking out of your top pocket might actually be negatively impacting your health.
Hamish and I are here to delve into what it's like being sober, an unwanted warts and all look into why giving up those cheeky pints or putting down those mummy wines will make you feel happier, help your anxiety and mental health, and turn you into the most sparkly, authentic version of you.
Won't that mean I become boring though, Vic?
Well, Hamish, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm Victoria Vanstone.
I'm Hamish Adams-Cairns.
And this is Sober Awkward. Oh, God, Hamish, sobriety is a very weird and wonderful thing, isn't it?
What's given you this thought?
Well, just because, some weird shit has happened to me since I got sober. Not only am I a functional citizen of the earth now.
That is the weirdest thing of all.
That is the weirdest thing of all. But somebody emailed me before I did my book thing down in Sydney and said, oh, can I come and take some photos of you? I was like, yeah, sure, no worries. She said, oh, I'm a painter. She's emailed me this week. She's done a painting of me and it's being entered into the Archibald Prize.
Yes.
You have to excuse my cough today. I'm a bit coughy, aren't I?
Can I see it? Is there a draft that is available for
I
me?
will show it to you, but not on air.
Okay.
Yeah, but I will show it to you. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
I don't know whether it'll be in the actual show. We have to wait to see if it goes through this process. But to have a picture of me entered into a big...
What are you doing in it?
I'm just reading my book and laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Just in painting.
Yeah.
You're laughing at your own jokes.
Yeah, I think I phoned my mum up and said, just so you know, Mum, I've made it.
Yeah.
I'm a
Is
success.
that making it?
That is it. That and going on the Adam Buxton podcast. That's me when I've peaked.
Okay.
Yeah, if I ever get on there, that's it. I'm done. That's it. Downhill from there on in. I'll probably start drinking again.
That's it. The day after the Buxton podcast comes out.
Yeah,
relapse hard.
Yeah.
My work here is done.
Yours is to present Desert Island Discs, isn't it, Hamish? Is that the peak?
Being on it or presenting it.
Yes.
I think that is the peak for me.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
What a job.
Or presenting Dancing with the Stars.
Match of the day.
Match of the day, of course.
Day,
yes, you'd be good at that, yeah.
Zero footballing experience.
Yes.
And very little knowledge. It's been a difficult job for me to get.
It's unlikely.
I think Gary Neville's probably just pipped it to me.
Yeah, I think so. I think probably the best route to take with that one is to become a professional footballer first and then get that job.
And we always enjoy it when people send us ideas for episodes.
Yes.
Mainly it just takes off the workload off our backs.
Yes, people say, yes, do this. And we're like, okay, we will do that.
We haven't got to think of another one.
Yeah.
And this wasn't one of those, though. This was a mutual friend of ours whose husband, and I think everyone knows someone like this, doesn't get hangovers.
Never gets hangovers.
Never. Zero. He calls it the JJ gene. What's the JJ gene?
I don't know. It's a family member. They all have it. And I think their surname was J and he was a J. So it's called the JJ gene as the grandfather. So no one in that family gets hangovers.
Not fair. So yeah, a family Brucey bonus is what they call it, in which you can drink like a fish and never suffer any dusty consequences. I feel like everyone's got one friend who either never gets hangovers or claims to never get hangovers.
That's the thing I think we're going to question. The claiming. What else is going on there? So how are people supposed to quit when they don't ever get hangovers? Funnily enough, I also met a lady this week, Hamish, at a sports event, and she said that her husband drinks 14 beers a night, right? 14 beers every single night, and he absolutely loves it. So he doesn't get a hangover the next day. He had something like 7 kids, so it was his way of kind of getting out of the chaos. And she said she's asked him to quit. She's worried about his health, but it's his one thing that he looks forward to, and he doesn't suffer any consequences. She said to me, how do I get him to quit? It's the same question. How do you get someone to quit that never, ever has any repercussions from their booze intake?
Should we talk about that kind of interaction quickly?
Yeah.
Because of what you do for work,
you
go and watch sport and someone comes up to you and tells you about their husband's drinking and then asks you how to quit. There are times when you want to talk about alcohol, and there are times when you're like, I remember you said this week, you're like, I don't just want to go have coffee and talk about alcohol all the time.
I don't.
I'm open to other conversations, you know?
Yeah.
Just because you do what you do for work. If someone was an accountant, you wouldn't just meet up with them for coffee and talk numbers, would you?
No, I certainly would not. I can't imagine anything worse.
People offload a lot of their alcohol thoughts onto you, I feel.
Totally, 100%, Hamish. I agree. I had sat down with a group of women that I'd never met before, and we'd all gone politely through, what do you do? What's your job? You know, where do you work? Blah, blah, blah. And it got to me and said, well, I'm a writer and a podcaster, and I discuss, you know, the impact of alcohol on society. And it just kicks off a conversation, because every single person has an intricate relationship with booze, either them or someone in their family. So all of a sudden they've got someone to offload on and ask loads of questions, which I don't mind to a point, but not every time I go out or every time I meet someone.
Either just say I'm a writer, or we create another job for you that is so dull no one wants to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't want to enter a job name here because I offend anyone. Accountant's not too far off.
Accountant's not far off, The thing is, though, there's a point in which I feel like I have to say it because I'm worried. This is my people pleasering coming out in full display here. I am worried that somebody there might be suffering and hasn't got anyone to talk to. And if I say it, then they're going to go, oh my God, I need to speak to this woman and she's going to be able to help me. And I feel like that is also my job, is to help people in the community to talk about alcohol. So it's very difficult for me to not talk about it.
Your own worst enemy.
I am a little bit, I need to learn better to not talk about it, quite honestly, because it is quite draining sometimes, But the problem is with that question, how do I get someone to quit who never gets hangovers, is that is one thing I can't answer. And all I end up doing is actually sitting there shaking my head and just going, it's hard. It is really, really hard. So it's not very often I can't answer a question, but this one always has me stumped. So I thought today we'd try and break it down and work out some ways of influencing someone to consider sobriety when they are absolutely in love with booze. I know one of the reasons you stay sober, Hamish, is because you had that awful hangover once when you had Sonny.
Yep.
And it was quite early on, wasn't it? Do you think you'd still be drinking if you never, ever once had a hangover?
It's pretty hard to say. I think once you are sober, it's easy to realise that the benefits are much more than just not getting hangovers anymore. Not getting hangovers is great, don't get me wrong, but it's one of 50 good things about being sober. But when you're drinking and you're right in the thick of it, hangovers are the sort of clearest, most tangible downside. Hangovers are the cost of drinking when you're drinking, and they seem to be the only cost of drinking when you're drinking. And because I wasn't really suffering with like mental health issues, I wasn't a danger to myself, I wasn't having anxiety, I wasn't having lots of the more serious downsides of drinking alcohol, I can totally understand anyone, if they were in the same shoes as me, going, there's no downsides. Hangover is the only downside. I don't get a hangover. What's the point in going sober?
Yeah, I like it because people just say I like it. It's what I look forward to and I like it. So they're not considering the internal damage or all of the other things that run alongside it. They're just thinking, well, I get a hangover, I get over that and then I'm all right again. So I'm not sure that I would be sober either, Hamish, if my hangovers hadn't got so bad. Those panic-ridden Sundays were my body telling me to quit and I had to listen. If I hadn't had them, I think my drinking habit would have actually escalated, which may have happened to you as well. I know we call you the normal drinker, Hamish, but of course there's a chance with anyone that they're drinking, if something goes wrong particularly, that it could eventually escalate. I guess what this podcast is a sort of preventative, isn't it? We're hoping that you don't get to that point where it's a problem or where you're ill and stop before you have any of these problems. But it is very, very hard to get people to do that. There are some people who drink like fish, but don't get any side effects whatsoever. Is it because they're not drinking as much, or is it because there's an immunity of some sort? Here's the question. I'm so interested to find out.
Was there a period in your life when you didn't get hangovers? Was there like the sweet spot, or, a period of a week and you're like, oh my God, I'm on fire, I'm not getting hangovers?
No.
You were always bad.
Always had terrible hangovers because I always drank more than everybody else. For me, it was the amount that I was drinking every time. Once I started, I didn't stop until I went to bed, which was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was literally poisoning myself every time I drank.
See, I had periods when I was all right. I had times when, on a holiday when I was drinking every day and then start again early the next day and I was like, I'm getting away with it. Times, I drank every day of my gap year for sort of 6 months. And at no point do I remember spending all day in bed. Like very few days was like all day in bed.
It's like hair of the dog.
To a beach and you'd be all right. So I've certainly had periods when I felt like I'm on top of it. I think as you get older, it gets worse. I'm sure there's science behind the fact that it just gets worse. Or you just have more priorities, more things to do and more responsibilities and it just gets fucking awful.
I always love it, Hamish, when we always go, oh yeah, Hamish, he's not a problem drinker. He drank every day for 6 months.
Yeah.
To the limit where you were probably hungover.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I got away with it.
You just drank the next morning.
But then you can't with like formulas that you think work.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll share a few later on.
Okay, good.
It seems there are some weird people on this planet that get up the next day, go for a run, make bacon and eggs, and just get on with the day. What I want to know is, have they built up some sort of tolerance to booze? Or do they have magic livers?
I'm not sure there's such a thing as a magic liver.
Is it magic brain? I don't actually know where the hangover comes from.
I don't know.
There's always that one mate that could easily manage a 3-day bender without even a dribble of red wine down his shirt. I was actually often that person. I was quite a good drunk and that you couldn't really tell that I was drunk.
Right.
I was just sort of cheery.
Right.
And very good at dancing. Were they all doing coke to keep them going, or are they just some people who can really handle the pace?
Well, there was definitely those people that took coke to keep going and never seemed as wobbly, did they? Because they'd get really pissed and they'd have a line of coke and they'd be like, right, I'm all right now, and sort of be marching around on the dance floor like Liam Gallagher. With their sort of zip-up jacket on, looking all cool.
Throwing up, nearly falling asleep, and then going, I'll just take myself to a line, I'll be right.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
How has it got to this?
How has it got to this? I mean, that's not good either, is it? We don't recommend doing that if you're really pissed. Don't do a line of coke. Now, before we find out why these oddballs don't suffer from consumption of Stella, let's find out if we've ever known any.
So quite a few members of my wife's side of the family are these unicorns. They have a history of alcoholism in that side of the family. So I wonder, is it like a genetic tolerance? Or I often wonder, are alcoholics, and I know we don't really like using that label, but let me say someone that gets hammered every day.
Yeah.
Are they not getting hangovers?
Well, they're just drinking through the hangover probably, aren't they?
I don't know. I kind of feel like if you're drinking to that extent every single day, you can surely only not be getting hangovers. So if we're talking the hangovers that you and I are describing, you can't drink the next day.
I would say there's a difference in types of hangovers. So there's some people that would have a tolerance, okay? So therefore they'll just be topping up what they've been drinking before. And then there's going to be other people who are getting anxiety when they're hungover, which is their hangover. So it's a different type of It's not so much an illness or being sick, it's a mental turmoil. So there's different different types of hangovers which would cause you. I know if I was socially drinking and woke up the next day and had anxiety, I know that another drink sorted that out. Yeah. So thus was the vicious spiral that went down, because I would drink the next day in the evening because my anxiety would get so bad. But then there's people who just top up the alcohol they've had the night before because they think that's what they want to do, and that's addiction for you. I mean, that's where that spiral starts. So I think there's different types of hangovers and different types of needs that we're going to cover today.
Well, the ones that I'm talking about, these family members are heavily drinking at night, getting up, going to work, full day's work, then they're not day drinkers, and then getting back from work and heavy drinking again.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you can go to work every day, you're not having the kind of hangover that I'm describing. And
they're the people that won't stop.
Exactly.
Because it's so normal. It doesn't seem to be having any side effects. And getting through to those people is going to be hard. Yeah. But we'll find out a bit about that later. But it's going to be the internal damage. And that is going to be very hard to convince someone to change.
And in the eyes of society, they're doing everything right. I still go to work. I might be earning a good living. I'm succeeding on paper.
Yeah.
So why would I stop doing what I'm doing? But
that's why this is hard. Because we're up against it, aren't we?
I would describe my hangovers had two forms. There was the wake up, turn around, the sort of room spin would follow your head round, a few meters behind. Yeah. And then you go, oh my God, I can't move my head. If I roll over to the other side of the bed again, that will happen again. I just need to stabilise for an hour and a half before I can even think of doing anything. That's hangover 1. Hangover 2 is wake up and go, I actually feel great. I'm a little bit tired, but I think I've got away with it. And I get out.
That's the still drunk bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. And I'm peckish. I'll eat loads. Maybe I'll sit down and watch a film, and then about midday, slammed. Yeah. And I crawl to bed. Yeah. I'm in trouble.
Can you sleep when you're hungover?
Yes, I can do afternoon naps.
Oh gosh, I can't. I'm just in a world of panic.
Yeah, that's almost worse.
It is so worse.
And then I thought I'd share the times when I thought I'd conquered hangovers. There was a time in my life when I was like, a hangover is a state of mind. So I'd wake up hungover, get shoes on, and I'm going for a run, and that would wash out any kind of alcohol, and then it'll prove that I'm not hungover. And quite a few of those runs I had to turn back and be like, this isn't drinking anyone. I think it worked a few times, and then it stopped working. I was like, oh, no.
I mean, I know a cold swim in the ocean when you're hungover. Yeah. That does feel good, but it doesn't stop the hangover. It just feels good in that moment. There are ways you've got to try and forge through. As a drinker, I used to try and really right, I've got something to do, I'm going to get up and try and do it. But I was in a lot of pain.
I've done that with cold showers, but then you feel so fragile. I'm hunched over. I'm looking down at myself with cold water hitting my back. I'm just this sort of lump of bones.
You're like Gollum when you're hungover, aren't you?
I can't really open my eyes. I'm just getting beaten by this water. I need to crawl back into the bed.
I mean, it's awful, isn't it? We don't ever get that ill in our day. I mean, I've been a bit poorly this week. I have never been as ill as a hangover. And it's self-inflicted. What we're talking about, we are so ill that we're fragile. We're kind of shattered souls, aren't we? Just from drinking. Yay, let's have a few drinks. And then the next day we're literally Gollum lying in bed.
What about you though? Do you know any of these non-hungover people?
Well, my parents.
Both of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my mum has.
How did you not get that gene?
I don't know. They just get on with life.
Yeah.
So they would never question their alcohol intake because my dad is always the last person to bed. He cleans up. Everyone's gone from the party. He does the clean up, goes to bed and watches a bit of Match of the Day at the end of the night. But he's really compos mentis the next day. And when you get up, he's already made toast and had a shave. And
so I was wondering if he was putting a face on to not look hungover in front of his kids. This is genuine.
I have never heard my dad say I'm tired in my whole life.
Have you asked him, why do you not get hangovers?
No, he just never does. Maybe he doesn't overdrink. But my mum definitely does overdrink sometimes.
And she doesn't get hangovers.
She says she doesn't get hangovers, but then she goes for an afternoon nap. They never, ever seem to complain about being hungover. They might say I had one too many last night, but that's about as far as it goes.
I wonder if people specifically to you underplay their hangovers.
Of course they would.
You don't want to admit a hangover to sobriety lady.
Totally, or to you. You've had
Yeah.
that with mates
I've
before
had
as
that
well.
with
Yeah,
mates,
like
yeah.
people underplay their hangover because we'll just go, "Oh God, you're hungover. How disgusting!
I know.
I hate you."
I hate that people think that that's how you'd react. I'm like, I've been hungover a million times.
Yeah, don't
you can
worry.
tell me if you're hungover. I'm not here to judge.
It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, so my parents have always amazed me in that front. Like they would never need to stop, they think, because they don't see the damage.
Mm-hmm.
John never used to have hangovers, my husband, but I don't think he drank as much as I did. As I was running to the toilet and back to vomit, he was just drinking probably at a slower pace.
Yeah.
I think the fact that I was slamming it down and smoking definitely made me more hungover than most people, actually. My sister's husband, Dan, never seems to get hungover, but I think that's basically because he's a lightweight. Dan always likes to get a mention in this podcast, doesn't he?
I was a lightweight and I got hangovers, so that theory is flawed.
I think that was quite nice of me because I think in one podcast we did say that he had an inverted penis, didn't we?
Yes. And we picked him quite a lot on the Sydney
Yeah, we
show
pick at
once.
him. Yeah, we like to pick at Dan sometimes.
He was in a crowd of people at the Sydney show and we repeatedly brought up a joke that he had crabs.
Yeah, yes. He does. He has crabs and an inverted penis. Hello, Dan. We love you. There was always a group of red-nosed geezers at my local park. Every day they're there. They drink like fish. They never stop. They don't look well. I think they're the sort of people that stave off the hangover by just drinking constantly. So there's those people that don't get hangovers because they're always drunk.
Yeah.
Which would also be called an alcoholic, I guess. Not giving the hangover time to enter your body, that probably does seem like a good idea sometimes, and is a very, very good way of avoiding any confronting thoughts about your drinking habits.
I'll tell you what, that morning drinking thing was an interesting topic. It has to be the right drink, was my experience. I've never, like, people that would be hungover, roll over and crack a beer, like a warm beer on a bedside table, or reach for one that, from the house party. I was like, how do you do that?
I have never, ever done that.
I've never done that. Yeah, I was able to do it with like a Bloody Mary or one of the orange juice ones with champagne.
Oh, yeah, with a roast lunch.
Yeah, that, if it was sort of a juice, I guess I could do it, but I was not built to be like drink through a hangover.
No, it was like a poison to me the next day. I couldn't have it anywhere near me. I actually called our mutual friend of ours, Hamish, and said to her, why does your husband think he doesn't get hangovers? Mm-hmm. And do you think he does?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
2 different topics.
Yeah.
What was his answer?
His answer that he doesn't get any side effects whatsoever.
But why did he think so?
He said because he's got the gene.
Okay,
he's got the
so-
family gene, never gets hangovers, that's it. I said, but do you think he gets hangovers? And she said, yes, she does.
And what do they look like?
She notices he's more emotional the next day. He's a little bit more moody, and that actually depends on what he's drank. She says at night when he's asleep, he thrashes around in his sleep. He normally sleeps very well and is very still, but after drinking, he's all over the place in bed. She just says he's much more irritable. So he could be kidding himself a bit. And of course, there's the internal damage that she's worried about. She doesn't care so much that he doesn't get the hangover. All she knows is that he's consuming enough booze to make him probably unwell in the future.
So maybe he's labelling a hangover as a headache.
Yes.
And actually a hangover could be more than just a headache. It could be being moody or your personality changing. Yeah, your emotions coming out in different.
Hey guys, let me let you in on a little secret. I've obviously turned staying into bed into an art form. It's my happy place. It's my shopping sanctuary. And honestly, it's the perfect place to hang out with all my favorite people. So join me and some of the most interesting people I know for shopping, some laughs, and maybe a few secrets, all from the comfort of my bed. The best part, you can watch from your bed. My show, In Bed with Paige DeSorbo, returns Monday, November 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Amazon Live. Just open Prime Video on your TV and search Amazon Live to cozy up. Because why get out of bed if you don't have to?
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
from way to normal.
I absolutely would agree with that. So maybe we need to redefine the hangover a little bit in this episode today, Hamish, and say when we're talking about it, we're not just talking about running to the toilet and being sick and having a headache and feeling anxious. We're also talking that you're not emotionally available, or you're finding everything harder, or that you're not there for your partner, or that you know, not as functional as you normally are. It could be really, really
Just
small
not
things.
yourself, not your
just
best self.
not your best self. Okay, there you go. You've hit it on the head. Being hungover could be just that.
Vic, why do you think people don't get hangovers?
Well, I thought perhaps it was something to do with fitness or having a strong constitution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whether somebody was just fitter and the alcohol didn't affect them as much. Or that maybe you drink, the more immune you become to booze. So maybe those people that are sitting down and having those 14 beers a night have some sort of immunity built up, whereas they don't react to it like I would, for example, especially if you're doing it every day. But honestly, Hamish, I really have no idea why these people don't get hangovers. I find it like, as you say, they are a bit like unicorns, aren't they?
Absolutely.
All I know is that for 25 years, I felt like that someone was drilling a hole into my skull most Sundays.
That wasn't a weird sexual thing you were doing.
No.
Right.
Is that a thing, is it? Oh, yay, let's go to that weird club where we all drill holes into each other's skulls.
Either I've got a headache or is that a cock in my ear?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's find out a little bit about what hangovers are. So a hangover is caused when the...
Here we go, yeah.
You've obviously written this and you've gone, hey, we'll have to say this.
Absolutely, okay. I did.
A hangover is caused when the acetaldehyde...
Acetaldehyde, yeah.
We'll go with, and it comes up
just
again.
Say toxins.
The toxins hang around for longer in your body. It leads to dry mouth, headache, dizziness, bad nausea. In short, what we call a hangover. The alcohol you drink is broken down by your liver enzymes into acetaldehyde.
Toxins.
A toxin that your body needs to get rid of quickly. The liver enzymes that break down the alcohol are more effective in some people than others. There it is. I reckon. For people who get hangovers, which means most of us, these enzymes are not as effective. So basically it is a super liver.
There are some sciencey things to it.
It's a magic liver.
Yeah, it's not just a lie, which we were considering it to be. There has been some research on this, Hamish. Apparently, a study conducted in 2014 on 4,000 people in Australia found that genetic factors account for 45% difference in hangover frequency in women and 40% in men.
So genetics do have a major role to play.
They do, actually.
Men's bodies are better.
Oh, yes, men's bodies. Yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, back to the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm going back there now.
Men's bodies are able to break down and get rid of the byproducts of alcohol easily, metabolically and genetically, meaning it doesn't affect them the next morning as much.
That is so true, because actually the people that I know who get the worst hangovers are generally weak little women.
Yes, weak little pathetic little feeble women.
Oh, my body hurts. I had a glass of wine.
That's it, because I need to go to work and be a boss.
Yeah. We are joking, by the way, just in case, because that would be a terrible headline if they just took that out and wrote it in a piece of paper and put it in the newspaper. It'd be like, these people are absolutely terrible people. But we are trying to be funny, which probably makes it even worse.
We're trying to be funny at the expense of the stereotype of women being lower than men. We apologise for that.
We apologise for that, yes.
No, but I think you are right. I do think, as bad as my hangovers have been, like my ex-girlfriend, who obviously, woke up hungover with the most frequently.
Yes.
Hers were on another level.
Okay, that's so interesting.
She would be, she was throwing up, I would say, 90% of her hangovers.
Yeah.
She's throwing up. She was like sheet white. She was mute for a day, like sometimes into a second day. Yeah, I would say the worst hangovers I've ever viewed were hers.
Okay.
And everyone thinks their hangovers are the worst and thinks that, people don't get hangovers like I do. Hers were top grade.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's a bloke I know whose hangovers are as bad as mine. I know there's an auntie I have who would literally be in bed for 2 days, not be able to move. But I'm trying to think if there's any men that I've known throughout my life. That's so interesting that genetics do play a part. I find that fascinating.
The worst thing, I actually used to look forward to hangovers during a night out. So, you'd be...
What?
I was looking forward to certain aspects of the hangover.
The funny bit.
So it's 2 a.m. and you're at a nightclub, you're on your taxi on the way home, and you're going, you know what, tomorrow, let's just sit on the lounge and watch a series of this show, and we'll order Domino's, and we'll get popcorn, and we'll get fizzy drinks, and let's just really settle in. And I remember thinking, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And still today, that sounds great. What you forget is the hangover.
The pain.
The headache and the retching and the runs to the loo and the not being able to eat the Dominoes that you ordered. All of that side you sort of overlook.
It's like childbirth, isn't it?
Go on.
Like the body is designed to forget pain so that we will have another child.
Yes.
It's like the body is designed to forget the hangover so that we can carry on drinking. It's like, well, we remember what it's like in the moment, but by Thursday we're like, I feel good now. Right, let's do that again. Let's fuck our bodies up and do that again. I know, I had 3 children, so I know that feeling.
That's so right.
I had a lot of pain. Birth is a very, very difficult thing, but yet I still chose to do it again. So there's some sort of self-flagellation in there, isn't there? Whereas we're sort of punishing ourselves and we know it's going to be painful, but we are programmed as humans to forget what pain feels like.
I had that most of the time, but there were actually some hangovers or some nights out on particular drinks. And I think the same is what happens with drugs, that go so badly that you're like, I'm never drinking that again.
Yeah.
That night out that I had, I told you about me on tequila.
Yes, tequila.
When Liz ended up breaking her foot, I threw up all night. I put her handbag in the freezer. Like, that night, I never drank tequila again. And I've had it same with occasional drugs. Like, that drug, the night went so badly, I will never touch it again. That's like the positive side of a terrible night out.
True.
But the majority of your hangovers, I was predominantly a beer drinker. I never went, that was so bad that I'm never drinking beer again.
Isn't that funny?
But yeah, spirits I managed to sort of write off. I'm never doing that again.
I guess that's because it's more socially acceptable. Like, I took acid once, I never took acid again. I had a horrible trip that lasted way too long and I had a monkey living in my knee. So, yeah, you can understand why I never did that again.
You've never told me this.
He's still there.
That's not even in your book.
Yeah, a monkey living in my knee when I was on acid. It was horrible. That was a real eye-opener for me. And I was like, God, I'm never doing acid again. That was awful. But with booze, it's different because everyone's going, oh, go on. Whereas if you'd done acid once and somebody had a bad trip, you wouldn't be going, oh, go on, mate, do a trip again. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, because you know there's no going back from it. Whereas at least with booze, it's not as heavy. So you think, oh, well, I'll probably be all right. So, yeah, we sort of convince ourselves that there isn't almost going to be a hangover, so we just carry on.
It's odd as well, given that a hangover probably lasts longer than you drink for.
Yeah.
If you have a night out.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, you're probably drinking, let's be generous, you probably start and drink at 6 and you probably finish at midnight or 1. So 6 or 7 hours.
Yes, but how long of that are you enjoying, really? Let's say an hour.
Yeah, sure,
Let's say there's an hour there that we're going to slot out and go, that is your hour of fun.
That's the best hour, yeah.
Yes.
And then you wake up, you never wake up, you never lie in. So you wake up at 6, having got home at 2, and then you're hungover till, I was usually hungover till 5 or 6 at night.
Yeah.
So 12 hours.
You spent your happy coins.
You spent all your happy coins. You borrowed tomorrow's happiness.
You borrowed tomorrow's happiness, yeah. So it's really a short-lived euphoria that we suffer with massively. Anyway, I need more science about this, Hamish. Can you tell me more about hangovers and why we might deny them?
Okay, so let me talk to you. If you're asking for science, let me talk to you about pee. Alcohol is a diuretic. So dehydration also plays a big role in any hangover. This happens because when people drink, they often forget to rehydrate themselves. That is why experts recommend having as much water as possible when you drink alcohol, which is easily the single hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Just have a glass of water for every glass of wine. Never been done by anyone. Also, don't think it actually works.
I'm wondering, Hamish, I'm going to make a sweeping statement now.
I like it.
You know we like those, don't we?
Yeah.
About women and men and sexism and all things like that. We like to make sweeping, sort of on-edge statements, don't we?
That are based on no factual evidence.
We love these. I'm guessing also that women drink more wine. This is very generalised, okay? But I think probably if there was a study on it, women would drink more wine than men, and that men tend to stick with beers.
Yes.
I know my hangovers were never as bad after beer, and maybe that's why women's hangovers are worse, drinking a stronger alcohol in a higher consumption level. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon you can get away with that.
Okay, good. Okay, it wasn't too general.
Rank generalisation.
Okay, good. Yes,
in this
thank
regard.
you.
Wine hangovers are certainly some of the worst. It's not just your imagination. Certain factors actually make them feel worse than, say, a beer hangover. The reason being that wine hangovers produce the same symptoms, but they're usually more intense.
Right.
So when it comes to wine, another tricky word, I'll go with congeners.
Yep, that's good.
Congeners are believed to be responsible for the extra intense hangover. Red wine and other dark drinks have higher concentrations of congeners, which are chemical byproducts of the fermentation process that gives these drinks their taste and smell. Sulfites, which are added to wine as preservatives, are another possible offender. People who have an allergy or sensitivity to sulfites are more likely to get headaches from drinking wine.
So different booze, different hangover, basically. But why do some people not suffer at all, whatever they drink? As many as a fifth of people are biologically programmed to be less affected by the array of symptoms that usually follow a heavy night out.
I wonder if they're just lying and saying they don't get hangovers because they don't want people to think they had too much to drink. Have you ever lied about how much you drank to make your hangover seem worse than it was?
Yes, all the time. You?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I was the opposite. So I was a lightweight. My friends and family knew that I was a lightweight. I had no shame about the fact I was a lightweight. So to be honest, I did the opposite. I also think that the question about like how much did you drink last night, for me, it sort of dies out after 18. People don't really care. I think people are quite happy to tell each other how much they drank last night as this weird bravado, hey, I had 10 beers last night. But like asking each other, I think that's just something that kids do. How much do you have? I had 6. Whoa, I had 8. I'm not feeling hungover.
Like a show-offy thing.
It's a show-offy thing. So I didn't really have to answer the question, how much did you drink last night, much since I turned 19. I would still underplay the amount I drank and underplay my hangover to my parents.
Yes.
I didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to know that I was drunk last night. So I'd claim I had a migraine. I'd stay upstairs. I'd watch films. Quite often I'd sleep at a mate's house.
Okay, yeah, good plan.
And I wouldn't come home until I felt all right.
Until you were the smell of booze, you'd have a shower, because often you stink of booze.
Yeah.
So you can't deny too much when you just stink of a pub, can you?
Lynx and chewing gum.
Yes, Lynx and chewing gum.
Lynx and chewing gum on your way home.
Teenage lean-tos.
Come back smelling amazing. So yeah, I think I was and remain a complete saint in my parents' eyes. I think that's true. But as I'm sure you will find out, and I will find out sure enough, when your kids think they're conning you into the fact that they don't smoke or drink, I reckon it is so transparent.
Yeah.
I reckon like clearly he was hammered last night, but he stinks of Lynx, he's chewing gum. Let's just let him believe that we still think he's a saint.
Totally. I mean, I used to come back stinking of cigars. I used to smoke cigars. How strong?
Yeah.
I would just smoke anything. I would absolutely reek. And my parents would be like, oh, Nicola's mum, she smokes. She's been smoking cigars. How disgusting.
Yeah.
So I'd actually blame someone else.
Yeah, I did that quite a lot. All of my friends smoke and I just sit in the middle of them.
Yeah, I just sit in the middle inhaling all the fumes and getting them all over me all the time.
What about you though? Do you lie about your hangovers?
There's been many times where I've lied about hangovers, Hamish, especially when I worked at this computer company in Brighton. No, it wasn't the fault of the computer company, I must say. It was just because I lived in Brighton. I was just completely off my tits all the time. Sure. So I just lied more because I had to take days off because I was always so hungover.
Would you call or would you like email or text? Or...
No, it was a bit before email and text. Like
so I had to call.
I had to call and do that voice. Yeah. I'm not well. But usually I'd been out with some of the people from work. So they'd all know, but I'd still come up with some bullshit excuse.
So then you have to set an alarm for like 7 or 8, like before work would start at 9. So you wake up, make this fake phone call or legit phone call, and I can't do that.
Do you remember that feeling when you woke up and you knew that you couldn't go, and the guilt and shame?
I don't think I've ever called in sick actually.
Oh, it's the worst thing. I had to do lie.
Even the guilt that I had food poisoning, and I had to get Liz to call, so I can't do the call.
Even though you were really ill?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a good person. Yeah. I did sickies all the time, but I was really, really ill, actually. I couldn't have gone to work, but it was self-inflicted, which, of course, they have no sympathy for. I'm going to say here, Hamish, that I justified rather than lied about my hangovers.
This sounds like an excuse.
It is.
Yeah.
I thought that I could just say to people, well, it was a party, or well, it was a funeral or a wedding. I always had an excuse to say why I had to get so drunk that wasn't my fault. It was never my fault. Also, I did that thing where I went to work where I pretended I hadn't been drunk, because I had to do that sometimes because I had to get paid and I had to show up.
Yeah.
So I would kind of spray myself with deodorant so I didn't stink of a brewery. And then I would go go in and sort of hold my head high like a smug idiot and pretend that everyone was drunker than me. That's my way of doing it. I was like, oh, you look like you're having a good time last night. Oh, did you have a bit too much to drink? So I would push the blame onto other people so that I seemed like the martyr in some ways.
That's actually a good tip.
I'm a terrible person, aren't I? Yeah, and actually on my fag breaks when I was going outside for a cigarette, I was like retching into a gutter and then I'd try and get myself together, go to the bathroom, splash some water on my face, and then I'd walk in again and be like, oh God, are you guys still hungover, for God's sake? And just be a bit of a twat about it, quite honestly. But I had to do that because otherwise it meant I had a drink problem, probably.
I've had some dark moments like that. I told you the story about when I worked at Royal Ascot 2 years running, and for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm working in these high-end boxes at the biggest horse race of the year. And the first year I did it, I spent, I think it's a 12-hour shift. I reckon I spent 6 of those hours in the loo throwing up. So I'd take because there's a public loo, I'd take my apron off, go in there. People from my box would be going in and out of that loo.
Oh, God.
Throw up, apron back on, wash my face. Like, that was one of the darkest days of my life, I think, actually.
Oh, my God.
Just in the loo.
From
like
alcohol.
A stadium loo. There's like thousands of people in and out of this loo, and I'm just throwing up on my hands and knees.
Oh, that's
all
awful.
day, a 12-hour shift.
And then you had to come out and act all normal.
And then be the face,
And be like, oh, hey, what would you like to get?
Canapes.
Oh, horrible. That is terrible. It always reminds me of my friend Harriet, who had to dress up as the Pillsbury Doughboy. I know I've told it on the podcast before, but she was in a massive inflatable dough suit and she had the worst hangover of her life and had to walk around this fete, actually like puking into her mouth whilst like waving at children, sweating on a really hot English summer's day.
Yeah.
Poor Harriet. Hello, Harriet. She does listen to the podcast. She's sober now. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Not surprised either. That was enough to turn anyone, wasn't it? The Pillsbury Doughboy. I tended after the job in the computer company, to get jobs in pubs, Hamish.
Yeah.
Because being hungover in a pub was a bit easier, so you didn't have to hide anything. I didn't have to justify anything. I could just nick a pint and sort of get on with it.
Yeah, but the smell of a pub.
Oh, God, it was bad some days
Hangover
going in.
And you go in on that musty carpet.
Yeah, and cleaning ashtrays out.
And that's when the fags,
Oh, horrible. After having kids, I used to post pictures on my Facebook account after a mother's group night out because I'd see people acting normally after one of those nights out. So I would post pictures of me like breastfeeding on the beach or playing, whereas in fact I was proper hungover. Really? Yeah, so I'd pretend that, oh, look, I'm still functional, I'm still being a perfect mum, yet actually I am dying inside. You should have done the photos the day before the night out. Yes. And then posted them 8 a.m. the following morning, looking really fresh. Look, I'm just going for a run. Ha 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 ha. I do think people lie about the level of their hangover to hide an issue. I certainly did, so I question if a lot of other people do. I mean, I do question that fifth of people. I'm sure it's more like a once. Is that a word, a once? As the scientists say, a once. It's not a fifth or a fourth or a third, it's a once. I'm not sure that you can get totally hammered and not feel slightly wonky or off the next day, even just a bit tired. I think that constitutes a level of being hungover, just not being as functional as a normal day. It would be much harder to quit if you've convinced yourself you don't have a problem, like our mate's husband. He thinks he doesn't get hangover, but others are noticing the side effects of his drinking. But whatever the science and our opinions, there are some people out there that can drink 15 pints of Stella and wake up all fine and dandy. Obviously, that level of intake is going to be doing some damage to the body internally. But those people would probably choose to be oblivious to the long-term effects of booze because, well, they feel not too shabby. I think, Hamish, we're going to pause this episode here. We're going to split this into two because it is such an interesting episode. So this is the nitty-gritty here about whether we lie and whether we don't. And in next week's episode, we're going to find out some ways you can talk to these people who don't believe they have a problem with booze because they're still in that love romance part of boozing, aren't they? Yes. They're still in love with their best social crutch and want to continue doing it. Anything you want to end with, Hamish? Apart from the fact that we're sitting here in our lovely quiet studio with a fucking lawnmower. Can you hear it? At your house, it's aeroplanes. Yeah. At our podcast studio, it is lawnmowers. God. At my house, it is a screaming child. Yeah. There's always something going on, isn't it? Bloody hell. Should we go and get him? You want to go get him? Yeah, let's go and get him. Let's go and jump him with on him. Microphone. Yeah, we've got a microphone. I've got a pretty good right hook now, Hamish. Yeah, I know, you boxer. If you're questioning your relationship with booze, you're struggling to moderate, or your hangovers are causing anxiety, it might be time to reach out for some support.
Yeah, just talk to a mate about how you're feeling, contact a local doctor, find an AA or sobriety group. Vic's got one.
Yeah, just head to www.cuppa.community.
Remember, if you're questioning yourself, it might be time to seek support.
Even though this journey can be awkward, it is definitely worth it. And if you've enjoyed the Sober Awkward podcast, don't forget to review it, rate it, and share it with your mates.
Do they have to share it with their mates?
Yeah, of course they do. I'm not doing this for nothing, Hamish. Bloody hell.
How do they share it?
I don't know, just write it on the
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Hey, I'm Paige DeSorbo, and I'm always thinking about underwear.
I'm Hannah Berner, and I'm also thinking about underwear, but I prefer full coverage. I like to call them my granny panties.
Actually, I never think about underwear. That's the magic of Tommy John.
Same. They're so light and so comfy, and if it's not comfortable, I'm not wearing it.
And the bras, soft, supportive, and actually breathable.
Yes, Lord knows the girls need to breathe. Also, I need my PJs to breathe and be buttery soft and stretchy enough for my dramatic tossing and turning at night. That's why I live in my Tommy John pajamas.
Plus, they're so cute because they fit perfectly.
Put yourself on to Tommy John.
Upgrade your drawer with Tommy John. Save 25% for a limited time at TommyJohn.com/comfort. See site for details.
Dear Career Ladder, you've had your moment. You're linear and one-dimensional. Ambition doesn't just go up anymore. It zigs and zags and squiggles. We're CEOs, executives, founders. We're advising companies, launching side hustles, taking breaks, defining our next act. Ambition on our terms, the possibilities are endless. Chief, lead on. Join us at chief.com.
So, as you probably know, my comedy memoir, 1,000 Wasted Sundays, is officially out. All my magnificent fuck-uppery in one awkward hit. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy, it's now available from all good bookstores.
We always say all good bookstores, don't we?
Yeah.
Are there bad bookstores?
No, it's probably ones with moody sellers.
Oh yeah, really depressed librarian folks.
Yes,
okay, good.
So there are probably some, but we're only storing it in the good ones.
It's only made it into the goodies.
You can also get it from all good online retailers. The print version and ebook are out now, and the audiobook will be available in March. I've been writing my memoir for 5 years. It will make you laugh, cry and cringe, and hopefully inspire a few people to reconsider their relationship with booze. If you love the podcast, then I think you'll love the book, even if I do say so myself. Hamish has read it. What did you think?
I feel like I know a little bit too much about you now, to be honest, Vic. Look, I really loved it. It was hilarious and surprisingly moving, but I feel like I've seen you naked in a literary sense.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's worrying.
Yeah. From an emotional point of view, seriously, it wobbled my teeny weeny wooden heart, Vic.
Okay.
My teeny little wooden heart.
Well, his wooden heart is broken. Anyway, so if you do manage to get your filthy mitts on a copy, please do me a favour and head to goodreads.com and give me a review. Doing that will help me get it out there to those that need a bit of sober support. So there you have it. My story, unwanted warts and all. Come and get awkward with me.
Not to be too demanding or anything, but seriously, go and buy it now.
Yeah, go and buy it. Go and buy it right now.
Yeah, don't just tell your friends, buy it, and then buy your friends one or two.
Yeah, don't give them a copy, buy it. Yeah.
And you know what? Don't be careful where you store it. If you lose it, you can always buy another 5.
Buy another one.
Yeah.